This up, Eric. Thank you so much for all you've shared. You've shared about how you play a role within organizations as a top-notch advisor. You've shown how you put that into practice through your practitioner package. And now I kind of want to talk to you about the whole summation of everything. Once you've kind of gotten through those first couple of phases, tell me about that rounding third base. Tell me about what it takes to actually complete everything that we've just discussed and what it's going to take to officially get that jump start going.
Sure. Yeah. Um, well, when you mentioned it, and I think it's an important point to make. You said kind of when it's complete. The one thing I'll start off by saying is that uh, a modern marketing function and kind of a strategic CMO, they never consider any of this to be complete. This is a living, breathing effort, right? Marketing is constantly changing, customer behavior is constantly changing, company goals are constantly changing. So you have to have a marketing strategist, a marketing leader, and a marketing function that is constantly assessing where they're at, looking at how do we accelerate, how do we optimize what we're doing. And so I see the, kind of bringing this all together really as just that is what a strategic, experienced chief marketing officer can do for a company. That is really what I see as that person's role because you've started with strategy. You know that your strategy's sound. You've started with putting the basics into practice and getting the plan launched and off the ground. And now you are, again, working that plan. And now it's about how do I accelerate our progress and how do I optimize all the things that we're doing. And so you start to get into things that, you just weren't prepared for before. You weren't ready to take the step. This would be back in our matrix. These would be the things that are high impact, but they're hard to do. So this is what you start doing once you are confident that the foundation is in place. So it's things like marketing automation, thinking about your marketing tech stack, and thinking about how marketing automation fits in with your CRM system. Um, you think about managing the life cycle of a customer and how do you influence from consideration to purchase to repurchase and to loyalty. Lead nurturing becomes a big part of this acceleration and optimization. You're measuring. At this point, you've established your KPIs and your metrics. You're constantly measuring those and reviewing them, and you are optimizing your plan based on those KPIs and those measurements and what you're seeing. Um, so you get into stakeholder management within the organization. How are you being viewed by the sales team? How are you being viewed by the product team? And is there ground to take there? Do you need to ensure more alignment? Are you misaligned for some reason? So you're constantly checking in and building that relationship and collaborating with those internal stakeholders. I think you start to get into, depending on the role that marketing plays in the organization, you start to get into the sales process and how does marketing play into the sales process with the sales force if you have one, or with any sales representative, whether it's a customer service function or it's a direct sales force. But you start to get into how does marketing help that unit? How do you align? How do you make sure that those are connected and that 1 + 1 = 3 essentially? Um, and then a lot of it becomes change leadership, organizational transformation and development. This is where you're continuing to focus on the team, on the marketing team and their development. I personally feel like kind of the number one role of a really competent and empathetic leader is to ensure that the people on the team are developing and ensure that they are becoming better versions of their professional selves. And so I take that very personally from a personal leadership perspective. But then again, you get into just kind of the role of marketing within the company, and are you being a good partner to the other areas and functional areas of the company? Are you aligned with executive leadership? Are you aligned with your CEO? Are you sure that everybody is bought into what you're doing? So you're really optimizing and you're accelerating, and that is a full time kind of always on function of a CMO, and that's really what I feel like an experienced and strategic CMO kind of brings to this whole equation. It's like, how do you strategize, plan, and then bring it all together and continuously optimize and accelerate the progress?
Amazing and well said. Thank you so much for all that you shared, Eric, and you've been an absolute pleasure as a guest.
Thank
Until
you.
next time, JobStream AI, over and out.
Thanks.